Hello, we are back. Let me switch over to Ruby and not mess around here, as much as I would like to use on Gaga. uh, Things is weird, isn't they? Man, I don't want to be like a downer, but like it seems like everything is just off kilter in a weird way, and I actually got my dad to admit it for like the first time ever. You know, he's Gen X, so he's always like, you need to work harder, you need to do more, you need to be like me, blah blah blah. And, you know, he's one of those persons who would get really angry if you said anything bad about capitalism. You know, because he's one of those people who has always falsely associated his work and his life and his successes with capitalism, rather than, like, I don't know, his own hard work. The fact that the work needed to be done. Like, he worked for the telephone company, which is, like, essential work to, you know, keep phones going, to keep fire alarms going, and core things that is going to be there, whether it's a capitalist system or not, you know? So, the idea of associating his hard work with capitalism is, like, ridiculous. It's like, no, even if this were any other system you could possibly imagine, they would still need telephones. You know? The difference, though, is just in a capitalist system, he was, you know, pitted against his workers and made to have this false sense of competition and fighting amongst each other, and in order that they wouldn't really be able to organize into asking for a reasonable amount of money. And because people like him didn't ask for more money, it drove down everyone else's wage costs, who were also doing essential things, but they weren't, like, climbing telephone poles in lightning storms, you know? So because he didn't, you know, or his collective group, rather, because, I mean, they do have a union, but union didn't really do enough to protect them, make sure that they got what they should have gotten, you know? And so they end up getting, like, $40 an hour, which is like, okay, pay, as opposed to, you know, should have gotten like 80 or something, because it's dangerous work and people died and people got maimed and it's extremely hard, and if nothing else, then you're gonna walk away with a broken body and, whoa, lead poisoning and all this other stuff, great stuff, that is definitely worth a lot more than $40 an hour. It was like 80 at least, you know? But no, they needed to keep that money for the shareholders, should say, really, and for the CEOs. So that's how capitalism is. Money for the shareholders and the CEOs, not for the people actually doing the work. You know? So, but he finally, for the first time ever, said, you know, essentially he said that the world's, you know, going down the tubes, was the wording that he used, which I didn't really act surprised, but I was actually pretty surprised to hear him actually say that. So I just never really actually heard him surprised, you know. I never actually heard him say anything negative, or usually, you know, like any older generation, it's the younger generation's fault for not magically, I don't know, having money warp into their hands. Okay, next level. 205, we're halfway there. So, yeah, I'm not for any ism. I'm not for capitalism, I'm not for communism, I'm not for any ism whatsoever. Every ism always just ends in corruption and fascism. And that's because you're depending on a form. And the problem is dependency on form. And what that means is that rather than constantly adapting to the situation and finding new solutions, you pick one set of rules and say, this is the one, and if it doesn't, you know, have an answer for every situation on the face of the planet, and it starts to break. And there's always somebody who's out to break it, and that's the fascists. They want to take any rule set in the world, whether it's Christianity or Judaism, or whether it's capitalism or democracy or anything, and they look for loopholes and they start to crack it and make it crumble and make it look bad, and they mess with the marketing of the thing. And they say, see, you just need somebody to fix it. We'll make it better. We're the only ones who can make it better. And then it goes full fascism. So, yeah, it's not that any one system is even bad, really. It's that when you rely on a system for the sake of that system, by the name of that system alone, and expect it to be able to address every issue and never flex in any way, then, you know, you're fixated on a form and you're not really looking for solutions. And solutions require us to set down our labels and our identities and to address things flexibly and compassionately. And you can't do that if you've only got one answer for everything, you know? So that's where I'm at. I don't really care about all these isms. I want, you know, chew the children with no shoes on their feet. And that should be the way we address things. And there should be no excuse. There isn't an excuse, because especially in a capitalist system, it runs on a mindset of scarcity. It makes you want to think that you need something. You need this fashion, you need this style. And then it also causes false needs. You know, there can't be rich unless there's poor. So, yeah, it's not the best system. It's not the best system. I'm all for, you know, people owning their own property and owning their own stores and their own businesses. But I don't really view that as capitalism so much as just like a functional economy. You know, people usually swing from extremes and be like, well, if you're not for capitalism, then you're for communism. And communism is where the government controls all aspects of commerce and nobody owns anything, and everyone just works for the benefit of the government. And if that's not an obvious recipe for fascism, then you haven't, I don't know, thought very hard or looked at history, I guess. So, wow, that's a cool and lamb sword. Too bad I didn't get that earlier. I'm already like one off from the second best sword in the game. The first best you have to get from the Demon Shaft, which is the Chronicle Sword 2. So, yeah, anyway, I don't really mean to be a downer, but just things going through my head at the moment as I deal with a job I dislike every day that just seems like a total grind for nothing, that I'll never have a house, it seems like, and yeah, now we're staring down the barrel of fascism and people wanting fascism because they don't understand history. So anyway, speaking of history, let's keep going. So anyway, like and subscribe. Have a good rest of your week. Hopefully you're having a better week than me. And bye!